Hey, what's going on? Horace here from workingclasshustler.com. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can generate six figures online consistently, predictably, and reliably. And the way I'm going to do that is by actually showing you how I do it, so that by the end of this video, you will know exactly what platforms you need to be on and the types of products you need to sell, as well as the process for evaluating, because that's where the bread and butter is. Understanding whether or not you can make money, what is the likelihood that you're going to sell the product, and there's a lot more that goes into that. But pay attention, guys. If you're serious about getting results, then you're in the right place, because this is not going to be just another how-to video. Okay, think about it. This is probably not the first video you've watched about making money. And if you're watching it, you're probably not making six figures. So where's the disconnect, right? How-to videos give you information. You don't need no more information. That's not working for you. What you need is transformation. So we need to go deeper than just how to. We need to actually show numbers. For example, we're going to look at my 1099s. That's right. This is a real business. Okay. We're not going to do theory here. This is real. So in order for me to be transparent, we're going to have to take some time. We're going to have to pull back the layers. We're going to have to go multiple years back and look at my 1099s. We're going to have to go back and we're going to have to look at my tax return for the year 2022. Why? So that you understand. If you're going to do six figures, there's certain things that go into this. You need to have a realistic expectation of what it entails. For example, how much are you going to need to spend in a year? Okay, you're going to have expenses. What are you going to spend on inventory in order to be able to generate six figures? We're going to look at things like how many sales are you going to need each week, each month in order to do those six figures. We're going to look at things like, if I did six figures, how much did I actually get to keep? I know you guys are interested in that. All right. So with all of that said, let's get into it right now. Let's go. All right, working class hustlers of America and all across the globe. My name is Horace, also known as La Machine, and I've been teaching people how to make money online right here on this channel since 2017. I presented at the Ecom Seller Summit for 2021 and 2022. Also, I was interviewed by Ashley Kincaid on her podcast. We'll drop a link to that down in the description. So I do know a thing or two about selling online. On that note, we have over 400 videos for your benefit right here on this channel. So make sure you take advantage of that. If you get any value from this content, please give us a like, a thumbs up, share, and subscribe. If you're serious about getting started making money online and you're already as far as investing, we do have a complete course ready for you. It's called the Arbitrage Encyclopedia. Again, that link will be in the description. Also, very important, myself, my producer Jim, and my sidekick Karen are putting together a workshop that you will not want to miss, because at it, you'll be able to literally speak to me directly, ask questions, and most importantly, get to know the actual categories that I like to sell in, the actual products. This is not the place for that, but that's what I really enjoy doing. And here's how it works out, hustlers. If you know the products that the market wants and you know where the market is at and you bring them what they want, it's literally game over. And it would be my pleasure to actually share that with you. So make sure you sign up. The link to sign up for that will be down in the description. So with all that said, let's get started. Now, what we're going to do is this. We're going to break this down into sections. First, we're going to talk about my numbers. Then we're going to talk about the platforms that you should sell on. Then we're going to talk about what products should you be selling. We're going to look at wholesale versus arbitrage. And then we're going to actually show you the evaluation process so that you will know how to pick products that make you a profit. Okay, hustlers. So real quick, we're going to start to go over my numbers a little bit before we get deep into the video, because you need to kind of properly vet me, look at some of my numbers and kind of figure out, hey, why should I be listening to this guy? All right. So the first thing we're going to look at real quick is my federal income tax return for the year 2022. And you can see I file as an S Corp. That's an 1120S. But a couple lines that we want to pay attention to, right? We want to pay attention to line 1A and line 21, because that's going to show us real quick how much revenue came in and how much that we get to keep after all of our claimed expenses. So you can see $335,504 came in, but then when you come down, you've got $41,846, and we're showing that in order to be transparent. That's very, very important. In business, a lot of revenue comes in. So if you're new to business, you really need to get your head around this. A lot of money comes in, not so much gets kept. But however, $41,000, you're talking about you get to keep $3,000 a month. That would actually change your life. But, you know, if you want to be able to make, say, that extra $3,000 a month, you might need to bring a few $100,000 in. That all depends on your price points. In other words, how much you're getting per, sale on average. And we'll go into what mine are. You might want to adjust. However, this is a realistic number that you could actually get your head around. And these are numbers that are actually achievable. So now what we're going to do is go inside Seller Central, which is the Amazon back office. And we're going to look at what my numbers were. We're going to look at some 1099s. And we're going to go back a few years. And then we're going to do it on Walmart, because those are the two platforms that I use. Okay, so check it out. We're in my back office. This is what it looks like in your Amazon Seller Central. Now watch what happens. What we're going to do, we're going to come down real quick to reports. We're going to come down to business reports, and from there what you're going to see is what came in today. That's not what we're interested in. That's not bad, but what we want to look at is year to date, because today is July the 26th, 2023. Now this is what we've done so far for the year, but I really want you to look at last year. Last year we did 183,000, but look at how many units we actually sold, just to give you an idea, right? So if you're taking 7,256 and you figure there's 52 weeks in a year. So basically you're doing like 140 units a week, and somewhere around 558 a month, just to give you an idea. Okay, this is important, guys, because you have to have that realistic expectation. A lot of people just talk about numbers, but they don't, reverse engineer it so that you can see how did they get to that number. That's what's going to really get you in the right frame of mind if you're serious about doing this. Now what we're going to do, we're going to go in and watch what happens. We're going to come down, we're going to open up reports, and we're going to come down into our tax document library. Again, guys, that's very important, because a lot of people are going to want to show you numbers. Ask yourself, because this is a real business. Any real business, that platform is going to have to provide you with a 1099. When you look through my library of 1099s, you're going all the way back to 2011. And that's only because that's as far back as they will go. I go back further than that. So I'm telling you guys, I know a little bit about selling online. Again, you got a lot of creators that want to talk. How many of them are going to go back to 2011 with 1099s from that platform. And as long as we're looking at that, you know what? We're looking at 2011. Let's look at that for a second. Okay. So you're talking in 2011, I did over $239,000. Now that's going back to 2011. Think about where you were back then. Did you even know you could sell on Amazon back then? Okay. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We really only want to go back a few years. So we're going to look at 2022, 2021, and 2020. Okay, so as you can see here, we're looking at the year 2022. We did 188,000, something like that. Now we're going to look at 2021. All right, here we are, 2021, 125,000. And now we're back at 2020, 205,000. But, you know, my numbers had gone down. This was during COVID, so I had a pretty good boost here. Okay. But again, this is just to show you that it is possible for you. Remember, this is part-time, guys. It is possible for you to do numbers like this while keeping a full-time job. Let's take a look at what we're doing on Walmart. Okay, so now you can see we're in my Walmart back office. Looks a little different out here. Every platform is going to be a little bit different, but they're basically the same. So watch what happens. We're going to go to overview, and then you can see for the last 7 days what we've done. And you can pretty much see mostly what I'm selling is snacks. That's going to be important for you guys to remember, so that when we have the workshop, that's what we're going to be talking about. So exciting. But if you look at the last 30 days, that's what we've done. We're going to look at year to date, and that's what we've done so far. Now you can see that's a big difference. Walmart is nowhere near where Amazon is. However, you take that money, because whatever we're doing here, you add that to what we've done on Amazon. Now watch, we're going to go custom because we're going to look at last year. So I'm going to change the dates. Okay, so look at, we changed it for the whole year for 2022, and we did 24,000. Now we're going to look at the previous year. And you can see we only did about 3,000 for the whole year of 2021. That's when I really just got started. And you can see where, it was pretty flat, and then all of a sudden it started around here. But you can jump pretty good though once you get started. All right, guys. So hopefully now you have me properly vetted, and most importantly, you can see how consistent, how predictable, how reliable that's what I was trying to show you. When we first started this, I wanted you to know that you can do this very consistently. Okay. That is real. Okay. But these are real numbers. This is not about talking about $1 million and a mansion and a Porsche and a Ferrari and all this craziness. This is something that could really make a difference in your life. And we can talk about it later if we want, about what you could do with that kind of money, but it's significant. Now what we got to do is we got to talk about the platforms that you can sell on. Now, obviously I've shown you, I do Amazon, I do Walmart, and I also do a little bit on my own website. So let's take a moment and talk about those things, what platforms you might want to jump on and why. Okay, hustlers. So now we're going to talk about the platforms that I sell on, because that's going to be very important. You need to know, where are you going to move your products? All right. Now, as we already touched on, I sell on Amazon, I sell on Walmart, and then I also have my own website but at this point, I only do very little. Short story about that. I've been selling online since 2004. That's when I built my first website. So yeah, I'm an old fart. But back then, Amazon was only doing, media type things. And You know, I was doing upwards $500,000 on my own website. There's the way it is right now for me. I'm not saying for anybody, but for me, I can't do any numbers like that because Amazon came along and just completely changed the game. And that's okay. I evolved with the times. But I just wanted to give a little bit of my history with that. I continue with the Amazon platform because they're pretty much the biggest, especially when we get into the types of products that I sell a little bit later. You'll see why Amazon plays such a significant, role in my strategy here. I also sell on Walmart, and the reason I decided to sell on Walmart is because I knew from a logistical standpoint, Walmart was literally the only company that could legitimately give Amazon a run for their money. Walmart in many cases is still the wild, wild west in terms of how much gating and, IP complaints you're going to get. It's starting to pick up, but it's nowhere near what Amazon is as far as you being able to sell different brands and stuff like that. Now, the trade-off is you just don't have the same amount of traffic. You definitely do not have the volume of shoppers. Okay, Amazon is the leader in America when it comes to that. However, I chose Walmart because I felt that they could really be a legitimate runner-up, and they are trying. I can tell you right off the bat, their platform is a lot more clunky, but you can make some money out there, as you can see. I'm adding an additional $24,000 in revenue. That's significant enough for me. So, yeah, that's the reason why I chose them, and I'm pretty satisfied. Now, those are the platforms that I sell on. If you could, I would definitely recommend eBay. I can't sell on eBay because some things didn't work out. But I would definitely recommend that. And there's some other platforms out there that you might be able to use. Heck, you might be able to use Facebook Marketplace, depending on what it is. Hey, here's something for you. I just Googled to find some alternatives to selling on Amazon, and you could launch your own online store. There's Wix for e-commerce, like we talked about, eBay, talked about Walmart Marketplace. There's actually Target Plus. There's Etsy. There's Bonanza. That's been around for a long time. There's Newegg. I tried Newegg. I really couldn't get much going, but I'm not big in the electronic space, and I thought maybe my stuff could work. It didn't. Bonanza, I don't know. You'd have to see if you could make that work. Etsy, I always found that more of like a craft type place, but I could be wrong. But yeah, just check it out. Another reason I like Walmart is because it's a much higher hurdle to get over. They don't just let anybody get on. You got to be legitimate with them, and they're going to make you prove it. So for those of you who might have experience, that's going to bode well, and you're not going to have as many competitors just jumping out there willy-nilly. Your competition on Walmart Marketplace will be experienced business people. That means they're not just going to be price tanking. They've been around long enough to learn how to actually make money, not just tank prices. So yeah, those are just some examples of some platforms that you could sell on. But now we're going to look at the categories that I sell in. And if you model after me, you're going to have those consistent, reliable, dependable sales over and over again, guys. I'm telling you, you're going to want to stick around. Give you an example. I'm going to pull up my phone right now. Before we even get into this, I just want to show you, the kind of numbers that I do. Now, here we are Oh, it's about 11 o'clock at night right now. But if you could see my phone, I'll see if I can get that. If I can get that to show. So we've got 27 orders today, and those are not huge numbers. But remember, if you can do, 20 orders a day, you're definitely going to get your six figures, because you're going to have your up days, your down days. But let's get into the categories that I like to sell in. All right, hustlers. So now we're going to talk about my favorite category. And I really, really want to encourage you with this. Now, I'm not going to get too deep into it, because talking about my category, I'm really saving that for our workshop that we're going to do together. So make sure you sign up for that. But guys, I'm just going to put it right out there. Food products. I'm talking everything from canned goods to snack foods to candy to chocolate, cereal. There's just so much that you can sell. Now, without getting too deep, because again, I'm saving this. I mean, I'm too passionate about it to talk about it just in this video. So please, guys, don't miss out. Sign up. I can't wait to really turn you on. It's going to change your life if you're not selling food. But it's very, very simple, guys. We're not going to make this complicated right here. Food is non-negotiable. You're going to live, you got to eat. End of the discussion. And whatever it is that you want to eat, I can get to you. And food is very, very important as a category to sell, especially if you want to do what I do, which is work a full-time job and then do six figures in revenue on a consistent basis. Food is important because it is the ultimate replenishable. You eat, and then you have to eat again, over and over for your entire lifespan. It is the ultimate. And if you're going to make those six figures part-time, you have to have products that you can sell over and over and over again. There are other ways to make money out here. It's particularly, I'm talking about arbitrage, where you just walk into a store and you find things off the shelf. That's fine. But a lot of times you're going to end up with, discount and clearance items and stuff like that and one-offs. It's just, is it impossible? No, but it's going to take up so much of your time. When you get into food, almost inevitable that you're going to end up getting into wholesale. Once you get into wholesale and you have your wholesale accounts, now you're buying in bulk, and now you can develop systems, and it builds such a platform, and it allows you to do the other things that you like as well. You can build on top of that, but I guarantee you get into food, you will have such a solid platform. And my closest friends that are in the business, we share notes. There really is no much in the way of ebb and flow with me. I'm pretty even keeled across because I'm in foods. It's non-negotiable, guys. The margins may be a little on the slimmer side, depending on what it is. But I'm going to leave you with one more thing before you join me on the live workshop. People are passionate about food. When you have something, when you're offering something to someone that they're passionate about, it's game over. So, all right, hustlers. So now we're going to talk about wholesale versus arbitrage, especially if you're a beginner. This is going to be important because in the beginning, you're saying, okay, where am I going to get these products to sell? Okay, so real quick, arbitrage is where you just walk into a store or just shop online, find a product. You pretty much, you're paying retail, you're turning around and selling it for retail on Amazon or whatever platform you're using. And I can tell you, it may sound crazy to you at first, but people will pay significantly more on these platforms and than they would if they just went into the store. Don't overthink it. It's not you. You wouldn't spend that kind of money. because you're a business person. I get it. But other people will. For reasons we may never understand. But some simple reasons are, guys, we're in the 21st century. People don't want to shop in stores. They've learned that that's time they don't want to spend. Okay. The pandemic forced a lot of people to shop online, and they discovered, wow, I really like this. Also, you got to remember, you're looking at items, especially your everyday items, and you're thinking, why would somebody pay this? You're thinking that they live like you live. You forget much of America is very small and rural towns, and they just don't have access to stores that you take for granted, like Walmart, like Target, like Best Buy, and all these other places. There's a lot of Americans that don't have that. I was out the other day, and we figured from where we were, and I live in Pennsylvania, and I pretty much live in a rural area, but I'm always close to more built up areas. But we were out, and we just Googled it real quick on the phone to see how far to the nearest Walmart. You're talking 40 minutes one way. Okay. So think about that, guys. Now you're talking what, an hour and 20 minutes round trip. We ain't even talked about the shopping, just in the commute. You got a lot of people that shop online. That's the way of the world now. Maybe you don't do it. So get out of your head and get out of your feelings and understand how this economy is moving nowadays. Okay? Because that's how you're going to make your money. It's life-changing when you understand what the market will bear when it comes to price for everyday staple items. It's crazy. But it's what I love about arbitrage is you don't need business licenses. You don't need a lot of stuff right off the bat. It's a great way to get started, get your feet wet, and figure out, is this really right for you? Are you right for it? And then you go from there, and you'll know when it's time to build up. Now, of course, wholesale is where you actually are buying in bulk from a manufacturer, from a wholesaler, from a distributor. And that's great because now you can buy in bulk. That doesn't always mean you're getting the best price. So you can be disappointed when you finally get that wholesale account. You're happy, you're raring to go, and then you start going through their database, their spreadsheet or whatever, and these prices are not so great. Okay? So you may end up doing like me, a combination of both wholesale and arbitrage. But I will tell you this. When it comes to wholesale, that's where you're really going to build your relationships. Now, that may take time. Typically, it might take me, I'm just telling you the truth, it might take me a few years before that wholesaler, before that vendor, before that manufacturer really trust me, really has gotten to know me, and they can see that I'm not a fly-by-night. And then they literally actually want to start giving you better deals. You can work together on things, and you can really scale your business. Now, you can scale arbitrage as well, but it's a lot more effort. When it comes to wholesaling, you can scale at pretty much with the same amount of effort you go to a wholesaler, whether you're buying 10 units or 1,000 units, is pretty much the same, the same input there. So, but wholesale is going to require you to have more credentials. A lot of times they're going to want resale certificates. They're going to want EIN numbers. Some of them want you to be a corporation. It just depends on what the product is. So it may require more. That's a good thing sometimes though, because I always talk about degrees of separation. The more hoops you got to jump through, the less people are going to be willing to jump into the fray with you. So there's a lot to be considered on both sides, but pretty much that's an overview of wholesale versus arbitrage. So now we're going to get down to how you evaluate. Now, guys, you got to roll your sleeves up. You got to concentrate. If you really want to do this business, now's the time where you got to focus, because this is where we show you how you evaluate. That's where you make your money. Understanding how whether or not you're going to be able to sell a product, being able to predict in general the velocity. So how much are you going to be able to, how often are you going to be able to sell it, and can you make a profit? When you know those things, guys, it's game over. So this is the fun part. This is where you actually make the money. So let's go over how to evaluate. All right, hustler. So now we get down to the part that's probably going to be everybody's favorite. This is the part where I show you how I evaluate. And that's so important because that's where it all comes together, right? So this is where you found a product and now you want to evaluate that product to see whether or not you can make money, as well as some other things that are very important. You don't have to do these in any particular order. I would suggest you do them in the order that I'm going to show you. But in the end, when you do this more and more, you're going to learn the system that you like. Just make sure you at least go through these 7 steps before you actually pull the trigger and buy a product. Okay. So real quick, just a quick overview. Number 1, you want to make sure it's the right product. Now, what I mean by that is this. Okay. So in this example, I'm going to be using this product. Okay. This is a real product, guys, but I'm going to show you how I would evaluate. So when I say make sure that it's the right product, what I'm saying is make sure it's the right brand, make sure it's, if it's a flavor, a size, you got to make sure that everything is correct, right? Because what you're trying to prevent is you sending a customer a product that they didn't want. That's a bad thing. You want to try to avoid that. Another thing, when making sure it's the right product, make sure that it is the right quantity. Okay. For the example I'm using, there are 24 lozenges, and that may sound great, but you got to be careful. A lot of times there's going to be more than one box of 24. So if the customer is expecting a bundle or a multi-pack, okay, and they only get one, that's going to be a problem. Make sure you can sell the product. That's going to be very important, because everything that you would like to sell, you may not be able to sell. Amazon is famous for restricting, or what we call gating. They're famous for gating you in certain products, categories, or a combination thereof. So make sure that you're able to do that. We're going to demonstrate that in this example, but I'm just kind of going over all of these as a quick overview. Number 3, make sure there's a profit, right? I mean, that's kind of obvious. When you get a little more advanced, you might do things where there's loss leaders. You might even understand that there may be instances where sometimes you lose money on it, sometimes you make money. And if most of the time you're making money, then you made money. But that's advanced. In the beginning stages, you want to make sure you can make a profit. And we're going to show you the tools that I use to figure that out. Number 4, you want to make sure that the product is popular enough. You need a system, a way of being able to tell just how often is this product selling. Okay. Again, as you get more advanced, that's not going to be necessarily all that important, because once you get big, you might have products where it's okay if you only sell 1 or 2 a month, because you've got an entire, catalog of products that are selling on a regular basis and stuff like that. But in the beginning, we want to make sure that product is popular enough, that there's enough velocity, and I'll show you how we do that. Number 5, you want to check your competition. That's going to factor in. A lot of times you may be on the fence with a product, and knowing what your competition is doing. How much competition is on that listing? Is Amazon on that listing? How much stock does everybody have? That's going to influence the decision that you make, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Number 6, you want to make sure that there are no IP complaints, or at least you want to lessen the risk factors on that. You can never be totally sure in the beginning, but there's some things that you can do to lessen the odds of that happening. And we say IP, that stands for intellectual property. A lot of times what could happen is you're selling a product, and then all of a sudden you get some sort of email or contacted by the distributor, the manufacturer, the wholesaler, whoever it may be, and they tell you, hey, you're not authorized to sell this product. Or they don't even come to you. They use the system, and then Amazon just kicks you off that listing. So we're trying to avoid that if possible. It will happen from time to time. It happens to all of us. So it's not the end of the world. You can deal with it, but we try to lessen the chances of that happening. And then finally, number 7, try to make sure the product is replenishable. That's not always going to be the case, especially if you're shopping at discount stores like Ollie's or something like that, where you're buying closeouts. Well, they're only going to have a certain amount, and when they run out, they run out. But to really build a sustainable business, what you want to do is shore up the business with replens. And then you can do those things like Ollie's and stuff like that on top of a solid foundation, especially in the beginning. Try to get replens if possible. That's another reason why I love selling food, because that is the ultimate replenishable. So once again, guys, make sure you sign up for the workshop. All right, so now let's get into the actual meat and potatoes on evaluating that product that I told you we were going to do. Okay, hustlers, we're actually going to end up evaluating this product right here. You can see it's the Crystal Light Pure Raspberry Lemonade, and it's 7 count. Okay, so remember, number 1, we're making sure that it's the right product, right? Now, you might be using your phone because there's an app on your phone, or as you see, we're looking and we're online, and we're making sure that we find the right product, right? Now, to do that, you're looking at the picture, you're reading the context. We're going to go ahead and take this 8-box pack. Now, remember, if you were using your phone, it would look something like this, and you would have to scroll around and find the right one that way. But once you find the one that you're going to go with, you kind of want to get on that listing so that you can really look around. But remember, so we're going to go with this 8-box pack. And once you pick that, you kind of want to go into it. That way you can really start to get into the evaluation product. But before you even do that, remember, number 2, you've got to make sure that you can sell the product, because if you can't sell it, there's really no need in going any further. And this is why I was saying there's no real, you don't have to do these things, these steps in the order that I give. But if you do, it's going to save you time. You don't want to spend all kind of time evaluating only to find out you can't even sell the product. So one easy way to know whether or not you could sell the product is literally just attempt to list the product. Go into your Seller Central, take the ASIN, and actually attempt to list. It'll tell you right then and there whether or not you can do it. Now, if you like tools and gadgets like me, I always talk about one of my favorite softwares, which is Tactical Arbitrage. And I got a lot of videos on that, so I'm not going to get into it right now. But one of the features of it is called Tactical Edge. And all you do is stick that ASIN in there. And then all you would have to do is make sure you're logged in to your Amazon account when you do this, and just check your restrictions. And it will tell you whether or not you can sell the product. And also it will tell you if it's hazardous material. That's actually something you would want to know, because that's going to play a role in whether or not you want to even sell the product or whether you can. So that's the 2 ways that you can do it. Of course, if you're using some other software, a lot of those will have that in there as well. But check your restrictions. Okay, the next thing you want to do, as we talked about, is make sure that there's profit in there. Now for this example, we're going to say we found this product on this Blitz website. We can get it for 99 cents a box. Looks like in this particular, for this website, you've got to buy a 4-box bundle, which is fine, but let's just assume you could get this for 99 cents. We're not going to look at whether or not they're shipping or whatever. Just for this example, the ways that I use to actually determine whether or not I can make a profit, because I use a software called Inventory Lab that actually has an extension that you can load. That's why you see it loading right onto the page where you would view the product as a customer. And you see this, basically you can see where the buy box is at $42.98. So automatically it puts the price, the list price, at $42.98. It's gonna cost us what, we got an 8-pack, so it's going to cost us $8. And then this column would be if you were fulfilling the item yourself, shipping it yourself. And then this would be the item if you were going to go FBA. And you can see you can make pretty good profit on that, right? These are just estimates. You kind of want to really get into it, because you're going to notice each method might be slightly different. Okay, another way I could do it, if you don't have Inventory Lab, you could just use the free Amazon revenue calculator. You'll stick the ASIN in there, and again, you can see if you listed it at $42.98, your cost, I guess I should put $8 instead of $7. Okay, and then you can see your net profit on FBA and your margin, your net profit with your merchant fulfill. But you got to kind of figure out what it's going to cost you to ship. I just know this is probably going to run me about $7 to ship myself, so you still got a 50% net margin. Another way you could do it, again, if you had Inventory Lab, you could go into the software itself, and there you would plug in your numbers. I'll make that 8. Because I can't remember if it was a 7 or 8 count. We'll look at that again. But you can toggle from merchant fulfilled to see the difference, you know, like that. And yeah, it's actually an 8 count. And then obviously you could also use the app right in your phone. And you can see I'm toggled on the seller fulfilled, but that'll give you an estimate, because you might be in a store or whatever, and you may just prefer to use the app because it's right there. It's handy. Now there is a plethora of, you know, little widgets, extensions that can help you calculate all sorts of things. You know, there's a lot of information that you can get with these. So you don't have to necessarily go with Scout X, which is part of Inventory Lab. There's all kinds of Scan Power, other ones that are out there if you want to do that. But remember, you can use the free revenue calculator. All you have to do is type in revenue calculator in Google. It'll pull it up. Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to make sure that the product is popular enough. You don't want a product that's going to move slow. Typically, just about anything you list on Amazon will sell eventually, but you got some slow movers out there. So how are you going to figure it out? Well, Amazon has a ranking system. And of course, with the rank, that tells you how popular the product is. Okay, so the lower the number, the more it's moving. Now, this particular software is telling us that this product has a rank of 57,592, and that's actually in the top 1% of the grocery and gourmet category in which it falls. If you didn't have this software, you're not going to see all of that information. So what you would need to do is just scroll down to the product details, and there you will get the rank. From there, there's all sorts of, you could just go to Google, type in Amazon product rank, you'll find all types of, charts, graphs that'll show you that. But the great thing about software is it literally puts it right in front of you. Actually, I think if you use Revenue Calculator, that may actually have the rank on there somewhere. Yeah, right here. Tactical Edge is gonna have the rank as well. And that'll actually give you the average 30-day, 90-day rank. One of my favorite tools, you'll see it loaded on my screen, is called Keepa. I love that Keepa graph because if you look just a quick glance at that green line, when you see it tight and a lot of squiggly going on, that shows a lot of velocity. You could even hover over the statistics. You can see 17 a month. This may not be a product that I would go for. However, it's just to show you an example of how you would use it. These will sell pretty good. And again, with that rank, I'm pretty confident that it's going to sell. Your tools are just that. They're tools. They're not going to be, perfect. That's why you test. But so far, hustlers, we've made sure that we've got the right product. We've made sure that you can sell it. We've made sure that there's profit and that there's enough velocity, that the product is popular enough. Now we want to check the competition. So the first thing I like to do when it comes to competition, I want to know how many people are on the listing. Now on this particular one, there are only 2 listings. The next thing I want to know is anybody doing FBA in case I want to go FBA. There are no FBA listings. And again, I would have seen that right away because under the FBA column, I see 0 offers. Any software that you have, like some sort of widget that's loading on the page, is probably going to give you that data. But again, it's right there on the page. You can see it. The next thing I want to look at is how much stock does my competition have? Now, this guy says he has 83. This guy says he has 90. I don't know about that. People can put any number in there. So we don't know if they actually have it. Let's look at something here. Now this guy has 7,000, almost 8,000 ratings. He may actually have that many. I sort of doubt it. This guy has, what is that? 3,295, whatever that is, ratings. These guys they're pros, but I would doubt that they have that many. Think about it. If they had that many bundles of 8, boy, that's quite a bit. What's 83 times 8, hustlers? That's, I kind of doubt it. And these things have expiration dates. I wouldn't take that serious, but doesn't matter to you anyway. If you can get in there and be competitive, I don't suggest just jumping in there and trying to lowball everybody. Get in there and show etiquette. You got 2 people selling at the same price. Don't go in there screwing it up. Go in there nice, and you'll sell yours as well. Amazon will typically rotate between the 3 of you if you all have the same box of the same price. Now, if you went FBA, you may get more of the buy box. And even if you didn't, you may have more people who have Amazon Prime that might want to go with you. So, but chances are they probably got this at Ollie's or something like that. They don't have the expiration date that Amazon's going to allow as far as sending that in. And that's just my estimate. But yeah, those are pretty much the things I like to check when it comes to competition. Who are they? I like to look at their, how much is their feedback rating? That gives me an idea of, whether it's a new guy, small fry, or an established seller. How many are they saying they have? A lot of times you have to take that with a grain of salt. Are there any FBAs? Is Amazon on the listing? Things of that nature are going to help you to make a decision. Not necessarily keep you off of the listing, but it kind of gives you an idea of how to approach. And you're going to test, right? The name of the game is test. Don't go deep into a product until you are sure. Now, the next thing you want to do is check for your IP complaints. Now, of course, there's software for that. So you could use IP Alert or whatever else may have come out. I've never used it. A lot of the hustlers do. So if that's something you're into. But what I like to do is just looking at the competition will tell me if, for example, if one of the people on the listing was Crystal Light or whoever the manufacturer of Crystal Light is, then I would be weary. If there was only one listing and that was the manufacturer, definitely a no-no. You'll learn those types of little clues. And then finally, hustlers, is the product replenishable? That's going to depend. If you're buying off of a regular shelf at a regular store, not a discount, not a closeout store, then, you know, you're probably going to be fine. But again, hustlers, if you're going to these these closeout stores, you know, whatever it may be, where once it's gone, you're not going to have a replenishable. Now, like I said, there's a place for your non-replenishables, but we're talking about really getting your numbers. We're talking about you being able to do 6 figures consistently on a regular basis, predictably, reliably, consistently. You got to shore up your inventory with products that you can just go over and over and over again. Is so important for the revenue, and also because over time you really get to know your product. Okay, especially if you're doing a lot of merchant fulfills, which is where I like to be. I probably need to do a video and really talk about merchant fulfill versus FBA, and why did I go from being primarily FBA to now I'm primarily merchant fulfill. I like the control, and there's other things that it's a whole nother video. So let me know if that's something you'd like to get into. Guys, I hope this video was helpful for you. I really want you to be excited about making money. Guys, I've always been transparent with you. I'm always going to be transparent. I drive truck for a living. My company is on the verge of bankruptcy. And you know what? While I'm looking for another job, I have a regular, consistent income coming in right now. And it is because of what I've been doing, building this business. Okay, if you're thinking about making that extra money that could change your life, give you that extra $3,000, $4,000 a month, which is what it's giving me. That's not making you rich, but it's giving you that extra income. If that's something you want to do, you got to get started. You got to join me and the lovely Miss Karen and my producer Jim, where we really, really give you the information. Don't cost you nothing. We answer questions and just really want to help you, which is all that I've ever tried to do since the year 2017. So guys, please give us a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, take advantage of all the tools, support the channel, and use some of the tools where we might get a little bit of a commission. Doesn't cost you anything. It's just your way of giving back to us for the hours that we put into these over 400 videos for you. And I will see you guys. Oh, and don't forget, if there's anything that I didn't cover, make sure you leave a comment. We do answer those, and I'll see you guys in the next video.